Is it 5?
It's
It's here.
Okay, it's 5 o'clock. We're going to open the Rules and Legislative Committee. It's time for prayer. I'm going to have a short verse here. It's read, it is Christmas time, and we need to meditate on a description that was mentioned in Isaiah. He prophesied about the Messiah coming 700 years before he actually came. So we'll read that. This is Isaiah 9, verse 6. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder, and his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. God leaves us with nothing to do but to accept this gift. Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior. Okay, we're ready to start the roll call. All of the members are present and accounted for, and now I think Josh Carney, you want to mention something? We've had some complaints about not going to the microphone, and the questions that are being asked the committee are not being heard by our constituents. So we'll try to do this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So a little bit of housekeeping for the room. We have 3 meetings back to back to back, and if you want to speak at any of these 3 committee meetings, please raise your hand. You will be addressed by the chairperson, and at that time, you'll need to report to the microphone. If you do not speak into the microphone, the public will not hear you, and that's a problem. So we ask that you come up to the microphone. If you have something to say, speak directly into the microphone when you're speaking to the chair people. Also, you're in the room with 2 cameras. There's one there. There's one in the back. You're subject to be recorded while you're in this room. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Josh? Okay, being none. Let's see. Mr. Vick, did you want to mention something, or we need to go on? Start.
Yeah, if you don't mind, we'll talk. We're glad that Property Assessor Clanton is here today, and she has told us that she was going to be an early retirement, and that means the process will begin to select a new property assessor to serve during the interim period between now and the election. Since it's more than 2 years and an election is upcoming, it is our statute. The statute requires us to have an election of that person to fill the unexpired term that you have, the remainder of the term you have. But in the meantime, that office would become vacant had we not have someone in there to take your place in February. So, Mr. Chairman, what we have done in the past when we fill these positions is that we ask everyone to come in submit a letter to either the mayor or Commissioner Farrer. It has to be put on our Rules Committee calendar. You will come in. We have the chance to vet everyone in here, ask them questions, let them tell us about themselves, why they would make a good fit, and go through that process. So that helps us understand as we move forward. And then after the committee recommends all of the names that are submitted to the full commission, the following month, the full commission will then select one person to fill that role on a temporary basis until the August election is completed. So it takes 10 votes on the commission floor. I don't know if in the past if they submitted their name on the floor from another commissioner has been acceptable. I think we've done it both ways. So any way we do, we'd like to have the chance. Everybody needs to have the chance to be vetted and tell us about yourself. So you're at a real advantage if you do that. If you choose not to do that, well, that's fine too. But the audience, you don't have the chance to question. So is that, as a committee, that's our rules. Does that restate them correctly there, or am I missing something?
Sounds correct to me. We
Okay.
just need to make sure we don't leave any. We've got to have somebody to fill a position when she leaves.
Yep. And I think Commissioner Fair is correct, because we can't leave that position. It's too important a position to leave vacant. So we have to make a decision. So if you can bear with us on your retirement until we select someone there, then that would work out. So. And we're not promising we'll make a decision in February, but we hope to. So that's all I've got on that.
Okay, well, good. Got that. Is anything else to start with, or we'll get to the agenda?
Do we need to place that? Are we placing that on the February agenda?
Yes.
We need to go ahead and
I think we need to play. Yeah, I would make a motion. We place the process for the selection of the property assessor on our January agenda. Anyone who wants to be the property assessor, send a letter to the mayor, send it to Commissioner Farrer, contact your commissioner and tell them and
They
be
give it to
here
the
if you would
commissioner.
like.
They don't have to give it to me. They can give it to the commissioner, and it'll be in front of our committee.
I second.
Okay. Is there any other question? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, good. Okay, the first item on the agenda is approval of the November 18th, 2025 Rosen Legislative Committee meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, public comment period. I didn't see anybody that had signed up. If it's,
I didn't see any
is
form.
there wasn't any out there? Okay. I think the county mayor's mother's been sick, so that'll be all right. We'll, and what's your name? And we'll, Stephen Jordan. Okay, when we get to the appropriate place, Stephen, we'll let you speak. Okay. 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 Okay, so we've got two.
Got
Yes,
one
sir?
more.
Who? Fields. Okay, Mr. Fields. Okay, so we got three people that are under the public comment. Okay, we'll go to the next item, and we'll get to those when we get through the agenda. It's consideration of placing the December 9th, 2025 county commission minutes on the January 13th, 2026 commission meeting.
Make a motion, we place those on the commission meeting without recommendation.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The next item is consideration of placing the notary applicants on the January 13th, 2026 County Commission agenda as requested by County Clerk Donna Thomas.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The next item is consideration of placing the county highway department road listing, which was in our packets, on the county commission agenda, and we do have them listed.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That's all. Mark, you have a comment or you want to say anything? You have to come up to the microphone, so. Okay.
It's just the annual road list approval we have to do by state statute. Still looking right there. So I thank you for putting it on the agenda to get it approved next month.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions? We do it every year.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one is the Veterans Report. It looks like there were 86 office visits in November, and there were 60 veterans that were transported to the VA hospitals. And Mr. Elio, any comments or questions?
Nothing further to add unless anybody has any questions.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? Okay,
We'll just keep on it.
okay,
Thank you,
thank you,
sir.
sir. We appreciate your service and what you do for the veterans. Next is, it's just for our own information, the clinic report, for some medical reports first. They served, there were 89 patients that were seen in November on the medical side, and on the dental side, November, they saw 62 patients. And of course, we all know the valuable services they provide for our community. Does anybody have any questions or any comments? Okay, being none, we'll go. Next one is the action report. Do you have any update?
All my board members, not all my board, but 4 or 5 of them had the flu, so we couldn't have a meeting, and I had 5 people there because they were all sick. So we'll meet next month, and hopefully everybody's healthy. I think the flu's going around or something. Because I had 4 of them that were really, really sick, so we didn't have a meeting this month because of that.
Okay, I don't know if there's any old business, but we've got new business. So who wants to? I've had 2 or 3 people that wanted to.
Public comment.
Public comments. We'll start there. Who's the first gentleman? Stephen Jordan, would you come to the microphone?
Yes, sir.
I've been in Shelbyville and Bedford County since 2001. I've always been a concerned citizen. I'm originally from Nashville, Davidson County, grew up there all my life. I was active in planning commission meetings and several other things and topics that was for the better or for the worse of Davidson County. Since I've been in Bedford County here, I'm proud to be in this county. I really love what I do for my job, and I love the community, and I care about the community, and I care about what happens in the community. Before I talk about the wastewater system, which I've had some comments, of course, I'm sure y'all know I've come to the commissioner meetings, but first I want to say something about free speech. Free speech is protected speech. Madison and Jefferson gave us all that right that we're born with, and people who are in the country, no matter who they are. And when I came here, I made some comments in November about two commissioners that I felt that should be voted out. And I think, well, I'm sure neither one of them liked me saying that. Maybe one of them didn't like it more than the other. It's never okay to contact somebody's employer, whether you agree with them or not. That's over the line. That's stepping way over the line. It's wrong. I'm not going to really touch too much into that because it really didn't bother me in any kind of way.
We need to get on to
But I just think that's very wrong. But as far as the wastewater systems, I know Bedford County has the same problem of rocks as Wilson County does. And I'd like to read something from Wilson County. And this came from WZTV. It said, the Water and Wastewater Authority of Wilson County faces mandatory penalties costing $165,000 and additional civil fines up to $812,000 if it does not correct long-standing issues tied to multiple residential wastewater systems. According to the state enforcement records, the penalties were outlined in a series of commissioners' orders issued by TDEC, Commissioner David Saylors, and directors' orders issued by April Grippo, if I'm pronouncing her name right, of the Division of Water Resources to Wastewater Authority of Wilson County. Executive Director Chris Lauber of the Wastewater Authority of Wilson County fails to create a corrective plan for the issues, receive TDEC approval, and implement corrections within agreed time frame. It could be a fine as much as $650,000. I'm for growth. I'm for, I know it's coming. Shelbyville and Bedford County. I mean, I'm all for that, but it has to be the right way. And, we have so many issues, and I don't think that with a 50% failure rate of this wastewater drip systems and step systems, that it's reliable enough that building homes, these developers, they come in, they build these places, and they get their money, they're paid, and they're gone. They don't have to worry about it. And, the fact of the matter is, with Wilson County, if they didn't have a wastewater authority, it would have been dumped on all the people that own the property and the houses. And, with this committee, you've got land developers, home builders, commissioners, you got planning commission people. I think there should be professional people like from the state and experts that can study the land and look at the geography and geology of the land and see if it's pertinent or effective to be able to support such systems. And with all the rock here, I have my doubts. And those are my concerns, and I've came to these meetings about these systems because I have a really close friend and family that has that in a newer home, and they have nothing but trouble. So I'm not trying to say they're all trouble, but I'm saying that more research and study needs to be done. And, I admired what Commissioner Maddox said, that it's a shotgun approach. And to speak metaphorically, it's like ready, shoot, aim. That's the philosophy that the way it looks. So, and the way that it appears. So, you know, I wanted to address that issue, and I also wanted to address the First Amendment issue because I felt I needed to say something about that because that's never okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay, the next one on is John Anderson.
Thank you. I will try to be brief, although Linda can tell you I'm garrulous to a fault. The last gentleman's comments reminded me of, y'all remember Pete Phillips? His nickname on the hill was Percolator Pete. Yeah, anyhow, we won't go there. I'm going to read something, and then I'm going to ask everybody in the room to be courageous and either indicate support or not by keeping their hand down.
I don't. We're not going to take any.
No, this isn't a vote.
Okay, well, I know it's not
Okay,
a vote. No.
okay, all right, I'm hearing no. I'm hearing no.
No,
I got
You
it.
need to stay to your point. We're not going to take any.
I
votes.
hear you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Go
Thank
ahead
you.
with-
At the December 9, 2025 meeting of the Bell Buckle Board of Mayor and Aldermen, the board made a public commitment by a unanimous show of hands to the board's support of the following goal. Make Bell Buckle, and I'm hoping Bedford County will eventually make this a goal, make Bell Buckle famous as the only municipality in America in which the elected and appointed officials bind themselves explicitly, proudly, emphatically to an absolutely strict devotion to total honesty, no matter what, when conducting town business. No reluctance, no hesitation, no equivocation, no ambiguity, no partial truth. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And citizens observing the meeting likewise indicated with the board unanimous support. And then 2 Corinthians 13:7 was cited. Ye should do that which is honest. And I hope we're going to move in that direction here in the county. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next one is Jewel Field.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I live near Highway 64 East on Millhouse Road. I'm here to speak about the two rock quarries that are owned by two individuals, one Mr. Chuck Hawkins, the other by Mr. Allen, Matthew Allen. One quarry is located on Highway 64 near Wartrace, and the other is off Fairfield Pike. 2 years ago, they received a permit to build a pond. I don't know where they got the permit. They're still building it today. How long does it take to build a pond? I do not believe for a second their goal is to build a pond nor a lake. Their permit for building the pond is, in my opinion, nothing more than smoke and mirrors to hide the fact that they want to extract rock by his mining operations, by definition a quarry, for personal gain and to be exempt from the regulations of rock quarries. Mr. Hawkins has been trying for many years to start a rock quarry. His first attempt was to reopen an old quarry in Fairfield. The second attempt was to open a quarry in Beech Grove. Both times, the community rallied and stopped him. As you should be able to see, he has a great desire to own and operate a rock quarry. And he thinks he has found a loophole in the law by pretending to build a pond to have his dream of owning a rock quarry. Please do not be deceived. He has hired his own engineer who is coaching him how to circumvent the intent of the law. These two individuals cared nothing about their neighbors or community. They're only concerned about personal gain. My home shakes every time Mr. Hawkins blasts. You never know how intense the blast will be. Are there any regulations for blasting to build a pond? I just had my foundation repaired because it had been cracked. Was it the result of blasting? I will never know. As far as I know, there's no requirement for seismic monitoring when they blast. Mr. Hawkins and Mr. Allen are related and own a trucking company. They have multiple dump trucks moving rock from 2 locations on a daily basis. The rock-filled trucks weigh about 40 tons. Fairfield Pike is being destroyed by these heavy trucks. In addition to that, their drivers are driving way too fast. I have seen them pass on double yellow lines. Every time I turn on the Fairfield Pike off of Millhouse Road going towards Fairfield, I fear of being rear-ended by a vehicle, especially a large speeding dump truck. I have read Mr. White's response to the pushback of the community on these 2 operations. It appears the county does not have the will nor the desire to fight this. It appears the county has given these 2 operations a wink and a nod to consent to continue their deceitful operations. If Mr. White is correct, the law needs to be changed. I asked the Bedford County leadership to coordinate with the surrounding counties and write Mr. Marsh and Mr. Reeves and tell them the law needs to be changed to protect all the citizens, not just the wealthy and the well-connected, because these 2 individuals will continue to exploit the intent of the law to open additional rock quarries once this one is closed. The next one may be in your backyard or back door. But even worse, other shady characters across the state will do the same thing that Mr. Hawkins is doing today, and under the guise of building a pond in their farm operations. Our county leadership has allowed many questionable things to occur all over this county just to exploit the people. Why? I thought the county government was to work for and protect its citizens, not throw them to the sharks. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we got the public comment period over. Is there, we got a lot of other business to come up. Yes, sir.
I want to make clarification about the water board. We've approved 7 members. We did not approve 8. Everybody's in agreement with that. We also asked that it be live streamed. And if there's a cost to it, we could move the meeting after the finance meeting when the people are already here, or we could do it after one of our meetings or whatever. But that was also in binding legislation that we agreed to live stream these meetings. So we approved 7, not 8. That's all we approved board member wise. And I will say the other thing I was a little disappointed listening to part of it was when I heard consolidated was too restrictive. The whole point of this water board was to be restrictive. So that was the whole reason we formed it, was to be more than the state and be restricted. So consolidated is not too restrictive. That's sort of the model we're wanting. So we want to be restricted while we formed it. So that's just what I wanted clarification on. I think it's important to have it live streamed where people can watch it. And that is what we voted to do. Am I incorrect?
I understand.
All right. Well, we need to try to live stream it. That was my point.
Any other comments or questions concerning this matter?
I have some myself. So which is basically the same thing that Bill has said in the commission meeting. It passed to form a 7-member wastewater committee and to live stream the meetings. This would be for 1 year and come back to the commission. First meeting has already occurred. It was not live streamed. Fortunately, it was recorded by Josh Blevins. And fortunately, Commissioner Neely was also attending. Commissioner Neely had emailed Mayor Graham and the commissioners and the county attorney with questions. I replied asking questions in that email thread as well as Commissioner Maddox. So if the commission passes something, it should be done. It is legally binding. Otherwise, why do you have the commission? It just says to the taxpayers out there, I don't care what you want or what the commission wants. Mayor Graham replied to our email and suggested the county IT department could live stream all meetings if the commission would come up with more money. I would like to see all the meetings, which are not reported to the committees or the commissioners, live streamed. But all the departments report to the standing committees. All the elected officials give quarterly reports to the commission. So we could probably just scan those into the website and that would be public. Everybody could get the reports. They don't have to be live streamed because the committee and the commission already is. So that only leaves planning and BZA because we've already passed the wastewater committee to be live streamed. With 7 members, no ex officios, I don't want to hear why you can't. I want to know how you can. And the members of that committee are there for the benefit of the county, not the benefit of developers. So, as Bill said, I want the strongest regulations we can possibly have. The IT department does an excellent job and should be compensated. That falls under the mayor's office. So Robert and the mayor maybe could come up with a way to move some funds from a different place in the budget. They may, maybe comp time at time and a half. But if the money's not in the budget for overtime, then we have money to pay that small amount. When I managed a store, or I had to show up, if others didn't show up, I had to do it. So we may have, some other different people that could do it. I get it that nobody wants to do a lot extra. They have a life and they should. But with that being said, I do believe it would be a great idea to move the meeting day and time to one of the nights they already have a county meeting. We already had the equipment set up. You would only be paying someone probably an hour or two at the most in overtime or comp time. Probably behind the finance meeting would be great because it's an early meeting, so nobody would have to stay that late. Possibly even once the live stream is started, maybe they could show somebody else how to stop it on the committee. If you can't find the money anywhere to pay the employees, maybe you can move some funds. For example, 2 years ago, it was passed in the budget to add $40,000 addition to the mayor's budget in case they needed a part-time person. The money should still be there, so maybe they can move about $3,000 to the IT department to help them out. The current mayor only has 8 months left, and there's only 6 months left till the budget time. So even if we're paying an employee $25 an hour at time and a half, we're looking at maybe $200 a month, $2,500 a year. I'm just tired of more money being the answer for everything. We'll have to use what's in the budget, especially when we have a lot that is wasted. The county budget has doubled. I expect the wastewater committee to be live streamed, period, because that vote has passed. I will happily make the motion, as the mayor suggested, that the planning and BZA meetings are live streamed.
Okay, any questions or other comments?
Anita, and Josh is probably, he does have it on audio. We did suggest to keep it on a commissioner's night because it just makes sense to do this on a commission night and just walk over to the courtroom. There was one member that could not, so the entire cast changed the meeting to a Thursday night. We all agreed on a Tuesday night. And if Josh, if you can pull that back, the audio is there that we did do this, but there was one and it got voted on and declined and went to a Thursday night. So
is that every
covered.
Tuesday they can't do it? Every Tuesday?
You'd have to go back, but I know that was brought up by.
Or just the Tuesday of the commission?
It was the Tuesday of the commission.
Okay,
Keith, I
so
got
what about
questions.
finance?
Yes.
What about
Right,
the
that's
Tuesday
my
after
question.
finance?
That was not discussed.
That
It was
an idea.
discussed. It is a great idea, but it was discussed because I brought it up and then we discussed it, that it just makes common sense to do it where we did it. We may have to move it because I have a feeling it's going to grow just like this grew.
Yeah, you're going to have.
Absolutely. And I even suggest, I wrote an email, and I don't know where it went, but I wrote an email to all the members, the committee, that stated, here's my suggestion. Let's move it to the courtroom and do like we've done on other committees and just put the table up there and it come commission time and just move the tables and go to the commission seats. I suggested that. I never heard a word from anyone. Let me just state that I never had a comment. That was my suggestion.
I didn't get an email from you.
I didn't. No, this was our committee.
Okay.
But I'll be glad to send it to you guys because it was the morning after the meeting.
And we maybe even could look outside the box and hire a college student to live stream it. It's not that hard to do, and we could pay them part time.
As a perfectionist, as techie as Josh is, he'd probably cringe if somebody messed up his audio and video. But I did want to address
telephone.
that. And I just want to address that. That was covered. So I don't want anyone thinking that we walked right over the top of that. I did it personally, and we discussed that, and it was shot down by committee because there was Mr. Coates who could not make it on committee Tuesday nights.
Let's find out if he can make it on committee.
That's
finance.
just
night,
wanted to make that clear.
because it's going to have to be done. It's already been voted and passed.
I think the only meeting he's got, and I know Sammy really well, is one Tuesday a month. He's got that soil conservation meeting out there at the extension office.
Yeah.
That's what it was, just one time. I don't think that's a problem for Mr. Coates.
So I think after finance will be great. It'd be an early meeting and
Well, maybe that one Tuesday was the problem, because I do know it's like my ag board meets on a Monday, UT extension office meets on a Tuesday. So that's probably what it was for Mr. Coates.
but I would like to make the motion as, like I said, as Mayor Graham suggested, that the planning and BZA be recorded too, that we find the money to do that.
We won't do it here.
Yeah.
I second that, because I'm big on
I
live
think
streaming.
it's got to have a second.
I second it, absolutely. There's a lot of elderly people that don't get to see these things. These rooms are crowded. People want to know what's going on. They want to see it.
They
I
don't
think it ought to
sit
be
in a
live
room
streamed.
full of people like this with the flu going around. We barely
Right,
got enough-
exactly.
We got people
That room is
standing.
definitely not going to be big enough.
No, we got people standing
Right.
in this room.
That's why I suggested, I'm sorry, John, that's why I suggested the courtroom.
Correct.
And it just made sense right after that to convene.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
go to our regular meeting.
Is there any other discussion? I go ahead, Commissioner.
I think that's a great idea, and I think we ought to record and live stream every single meeting we have. That includes the Railroad Authority, that includes the Ag Center, that includes every single board we have.
Mike.
We should probably do that. Now, to do that, we need to probably go to Finance Committee and tell them how much money it's going to take, because we'll have to spend some money to do that. So if we're going to do one, let's do every one of them.
I'm
Mayor.
fine with that. We
So-
could
Well, I
probably
just
should
do
be
one at a
able to-
time here.
I don't think-
I don't put no blanket on every meeting.
I don't
Not ready
think-
to do that yet, but
I don't
let's
think-
stay with just the one issue here.
I don't know that you can say and deviate from our rules and that you're going to only record this one, but nobody else. I think you're going to have to take them all or nothing in there.
Well, if there's a need to be, that's, I don't know if everybody wants to get into the railroad business stuff.
Nobody.
I'm not of that opinion. I certainly would like to keep it to the one issue right now. I don't want blanket.
Well, how are we going to pay
I don't know
for
how
it?
much it's going to cost.
Okay, then we need to go to finance with that.
That'll be fine. Okay, Commissioner.
Okay, at Courthouse and Property last month, Josh was very courteous to tell us that he intends to start doing the planning. So evidently he'd worked that out where there was not additional cost. So I think the best thing would be what we've already said is ask this wastewater committee to move to the fourth Tuesday where you get finance, their committee, and then planning, and the planning meets on that fourth. Do it all in one night. I think that would be more streamlined. I agree with Beth. I don't know that we need to do every single little committee that we have. That's just where they're going to meet. Most of them don't meet up here. I think yours is at the Ag Center, which is not set up. So at that point, you're changing locations. Of course, it's whatever the group thinks. But Josh had already offered at our meeting last month at Courthouse and Property that they would be doing. Then one other thing you've addressed, we have 7 members, not 8. Are we making that clear tonight? Do we have to have a motion? Do we instruct the mayor to?
It's already
say?
done.
In the law.
It's already done. It's what we did,
It's
7.
done.
It's already done.
It's
It's over.
Okay, as long as we're clear, there's 7,
7.
not 8.
Not 8.
You know, and I don't think the committee really has any objections to that fellow just being an advisor.
Sure.
As if all the rest of the
15
people,
advisors.
we're gonna have a lot
Right.
of advisors come.
You're right.
come
We
to
can have a
the-
lot of advisors, but not an ex officio.
Here
Call them an
was
advisor.
my concern with that. During your meeting, you discussed, because I was there, you were planning to bring in people to consult with.
Right.
If he's going to be an advisor, he should be treated the same as all the
Well,
others.
no problem with
He
that.
should not receive special treatment where he actually has a seat at the table. And that's what happened the other night. So he can attend or not attend all of the meetings, but he is not a part and should not have a seat at the table.
I agree.
No
Agreed.
problem with that, at least on my part. I can't speak for everybody else.
Okay, so we'll clarify. It is just for this one meeting that we're talking about the wastewater.
No, we're talking, I made a motion for the wastewater's already been done. That's a
Okay.
done deal. It's got to be recorded. The commission passed that. I made a motion and Bill seconded it for planning and BZA to
Okay.
be
Can we
recorded.
ask Josh, you might come up there for a second. Just to be clear, maybe crystal clear here. You were okay with the suggestion Commissioner Neely mentioned, though, about possibly doing it that way if we can work it out.
Yeah, we've never objected to try to
Okay.
cover any of the meetings ever.
What night is best for you?
For you, y'all.
It's not a matter of which night is best for me. What this all involves is we have to go back. We can't start right here because this goes back a ways. It actually goes back before the Mayor Graham was here. to really be able to tell where we're at in all this, we need to kind of go back to whenever Mayor Graham took office. At that time, we were using a handheld audio recorder to record meetings with. We provided minutes on the website. Anita, you provided that, you put them on there.
I did.
So we've come a really long way
Yeah.
in providing transparency. That's the key word here, to the public, and we want to do that. Everybody knows that I've lived here my whole life, and I've got a family I'm bringing up here too. So I'm interested in that too as well. So we want to provide that, and I've always held that position. The thing is, if we have a conflict, we looked at all the committees this week just to kind of review how many committees do we actually have, and subcommittees and special called meetings. There's a lot of activity going on in the county, and the public and the official record are the meeting minutes, which are posted on the website. But it's a convenience, an extra convenience for the public to be able to listen or watch online, and we try to provide that, and not just provide it. We try to provide a high quality product, not just throw a camera in the middle of the room and push a button. I'll assure you, not your average layperson can get up there and run the stream. I invite anybody to try without instructions. You'll fail. It's just the way it is. We've worked for a long time to try to adjust this and make it easy to provide, but it's just not. It's complicated. There's usually more than one person involved, and the same person can't be at the meeting at all times. I haven't had a chance to sit down and go over all the components with the mayor yet, because we've had a really busy week. As you'll see, we've got several projects going on in our department during business hours, regular business hours. After hours, I'm on call 24/7. I work in conjunction with the 911. I've worked with EMS, the jail. I get calls in the middle of the night still to go out on call, and that's my job as a salaried employee. Our deputy director, Austin Defoe, also a salaried employee. He would be the person in my absence to go and respond to those emergency calls, because we do have public safety that's running 24/7. So in the interest of the time that we actually do have remaining throughout our week, it just really depends on the activity that's going on. We can't stream the same meeting from two locations at the same time on the same channel. So for example, we're streaming to YouTube right now. We can't have two meetings that overlap. If we don't have a reasonable amount of time for those meetings to overlap, then we can't move this equipment that we have in here to the other room. So we kind of need redundant equipment in some cases. And this equipment's not cheap. It's not super expensive like it was 10 years ago, but $5 or $6 grand is what you're looking at just to deploy a micro setup that's a professional quality setup. We got a 24-channel digital mixer. We're over there moving knobs and pushing multiple buttons at the same time. And sometimes the button doesn't work. So the IT people have to figure out what to do on the fly. You can't just set somebody from the committee on there to hit the button. It will not work. There's more buttons than one. So I know it seems easy because the product's there and it's easy and it's on demand for you, but on our end, it's a little bit more complicated. I have professional certifications that allow me to be able to do this type of thing, and a lot of years of experience that I've been able to pass down to my employees. We do have hourly employees on our payroll as well. We have 2 of those. I'd like to be able to train some of those folks. If we do decide to cover more meetings, I feel like what happens is we get a few meetings here and there added to the roll for us. I'm going to ask you to be consistent. If you want to stream the meetings, let's stream the meetings. Let's stream them all. And the reason I say that is because adding 1 or 2 meetings at a time for us is very inconvenient. I've got to try to figure out what I'm going to do logistically on that end of it. So it's a lot easier for us to stay agile and efficient in our department. We want to keep a reasonable amount of manpower on staff, but we don't want to overkill it. So we're trying to keep that part, under control. I feel like the numbers that you gave out earlier, Anita, are a little bit deflated because it does take an hour to set up and at least an hour to tear down every time. So, we're not talking about, and there have been many 2-hour meetings that I've been at. So, and there have been a lot less than that as well. But, 3 hours minimum, 4 hours more realistically, and you're talking about a $25 an hour employee. That's a high skilled employee. That's not
About what
somebody
I
we just
figured,
hire off the street. They have
25.
professional college certifications.
So if
All
we-
of our employees do.
If we did it on the same night, maybe as finance, you would already have the setup and the tear down. So that wouldn't be additional. It would just be additional time that you're there.
The
Because you
tear
already got
down
the-
is on my back.
Right.
And no, I get paid the same whether I'm here or not. That's just the way a salary position works. However, I don't, I still feel like it's better to have more than one person that does it in case something were to happen
Oh,
to me
yeah, 'cause you-
or my cover here
Obviously you're gonna be-
who does have a young child, and you know how those things go. So things happen, and we just want to make sure we have enough resources on hand. Not that I won't be here, but having an additional person so that we can even improve upon what we currently have. We can, accelerate and even improve upon the product that we're trying to provide to public. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad discussion to have. I think it's great, but we just want to make sure that we're fair on all ends, okay? Because we are trying to provide a great product. The mayor is fully on board with transparency, has been since the day he started, and I feel like it's unfair to even pretend otherwise, because we do want to provide that product. He is in full support of it. Haven't had a chance to talk to him about the number side yet, but there is a number to it, and I feel like we need just a little bit of time to figure that out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So the proposal is to make sure we have videos of the planning and BCA meetings.
Right.
Okay. So there's a motion and a second.
And I second it.
Okay, we ready to vote?
Sure.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Okay, one no. Okay, say, Commissioner Maddox, do you want to speak for a minute or not? It's up to you.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity. Brought my sidekick Josh Blevins up with me. I want to tell you a quick story. We'll have to do it briefly because Josh has to get to another meeting. But real quick, I want to say that, my grandmother was married to her husband for her entire life. They raised 4 boys on a farm in Lincoln County. She told me a lot of stories about their life and about milking cows and picking cotton and all of that stuff that goes along with farm life. And then my granddad got to where he couldn't physically work the farm. They moved to Fayetteville, and then they bought a house there in Cotton Mill Village, Fayetteville, Tennessee. He got a job in the cotton mill there. He worked there for a short period of time, and he passed away. And then I watched my grandmother. I got old enough then where I can kind of, I don't know, everything sort of come to light as far as life itself. I was a little older than I was maybe, 7 or 8 years old, but I can remember my grandmother counting money, and she counted her money just simply to survive. And what I'm skipping over a lot of stuff that was important to me. And that was the first time that I ever saw somebody really have to count their pennies just to make it. But what I also believe is we have a lot of people here in Bedford County that live just like my grandmother lived. They're counting their pennies. They're elderly, and they have contributed their fair share to society. I feel like it's past time that we acknowledge them more than we do and help them out. Earlier in the year, I called a friend of mine, dear friend of mine, Councilman Josh Blevins, and asked him if he thought that we could work together in possibly something that would benefit our county. He not only agreed that it would be a good idea, he said, yeah, we should. So in true Josh Blevins fashion, he turned around and did all the legwork and helped lay the foundation of where we are today, just to even plant the seed during this conversation for the Rules and Legislative Committee. And my proposal will end up being that we, Bedford County, follow suit with many other counties who have done the right thing and create a property tax freeze for all taxpayers 65 and older that would fall into the guidelines set by the state for such a program. Let me briefly talk about that program. In November of 2006, Tennessee voters approved a constitutional amendment that would allow local governments to implement property tax freezes for taxpayers 65 or older. In 2007, the General Assembly passed the Property Tax Freeze Act, Tennessee Code Annotated 67-5-705, which set the terms
for a tax freeze. Since 2007, here's a key point. 27 counties and 36 cities have successfully implemented the property tax freeze, protecting seniors, which are some of our most vulnerable, from the impact of property tax increases. Most recently, the cities of Nolensville, Mount Juliet joined the senior tax freeze program. In 2024, Putnam County joined, and in 2023, Union and DeKalb counties came on board. To qualify, the homeowner must own their home, and it must be their principal place of residence. They must be 65 or older at the end of the year they apply for the property tax freeze, and their combined income from all sources cannot exceed the income limit established for that year. In Bedford County, we have two choices. For 2025, it could either have been $42,710 or $61,920. I would suggest that we would most likely want to adopt the lower one first. In order to implement this senior property tax freeze, the county commission would need to adopt it either by resolution or ordinance. Obviously, the county trustee's office oversees those applications. And, one cool thing that's neat for and beneficial for the Bedford County office is that we're currently participating in the property tax relief program for the low-income elderly and disabled homeowners, as well as disabled veterans, homeowners, and their surviving spouses. So this program is already being utilized for 700 people already. So we can continue in conjunction with this as it pertains to the senior property tax freeze. Most of the information needed for those seniors is already collected for the tax relief program. Councilman, I know that you've got a meeting to get to, but I wanted you to say a couple words as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Maddox. I've done a fair amount of research on this. I've had two extensive meetings where the county trustee, Tanya Davis, as you know, she has a great heart for seniors. She serves on our senior citizen board. I also had an extensive conversation this morning with the Putnam County Trustee's office. They're the most recent county in the state to implement this. Putnam County has 85,000 residents, so they're slightly larger than us. They have assigned 2 employees to their senior tax program. They have 1,200 people total on their program. 800 of those are in this tax freeze situation. We have about 700, so we have slightly smaller numbers here, smaller county. They said the first year was a little bit of a struggle for their office until they kind of got their feet under them. What they realized was that they didn't need to keep 2 separate sets of records for the tax relief and the tax freeze. What they were already getting for the tax relief was all the information they needed from those seniors to qualify them for the tax freeze.
So are most of them on tax relief also eligible for tax freeze?
They will be eligible for the tax freeze as well.
All of them or most of them?
The numbers for the tax freeze have a slightly higher income limit, so a few more people can come on the tax freeze. The gap there is really narrow. There's a $37,000 income limit for the relief this year. We're at what was that other number? The low 40,000. For the tax freeze. So there's a few more that can come on board for that. Like I said, their recommendation, and I was hoping Tanya could be here tonight. I told her we were having this meeting. Was they did the paperwork for the seniors during the summertime months when they weren't in tax season is what they found was the best deal. And by the time October came around with tax season, they weren't dealing with that paperwork because they'd already taken care of it during the summer. The way they implemented, they passed this 22-0, their county commission did. They put together a small committee that included their tax assessor, several of their commissioners. They put a committee together and just looked at this for a couple months to come up with the best way to implement this. So we're just coming to you tonight on the city side of things, which is what I represent. I've sent this already to city staff. They're coming back to us with some recommendations next month. I just felt like this would be a good way. Either body could pass this independent of each other. We could go ahead and pass this in the city, and we actually did with tax relief. The city passed the tax relief 2 years before the county came on board with the matching. I just thought this would be a great thing for us to work together collaboratively, the city and the county, to help some of our most vulnerable residents. These are low-income seniors that could possibly get taxed out of their home down the road, and this is a way to protect them from property tax freezes down the road. There's no revenue hit on the front end other than the time involved in the trustee's office, because this only helps them once somebody decides to raise their taxes down the road, 10%, 15%. They're protected from those tax raises going forward. So I don't know the appropriate process. I would think this would need to go to finance. I would think rules and legislative. I don't know if you want to put together a small committee to review it. Definitely, I think you'd want to have Tanya, speak to the commission at some point. So,
Quick question for you, Councilman.
Yeah.
When we're talking 42,000, is that 42,000 for two married people? Or
that is a combined income number. Yeah. And I wish,
because man, Social Security for two people is going to be, if both of you are alive, you're not even going to meet that, guys.
yeah. So if you're under that, you qualify for the freeze.
But
So-
42, if you're a widow now, you would qualify for it. But if both of you were
Yeah.
retired, your Social Security alone,
Yeah, we're gonna get you.
and
above
that's the
that.
kind of person we're trying to help too. To me, is
well, we have no,
That's
if
why
it
I'm
were
not
up to
here
me,
on the
I would
higher
freeze
number that y'all
everybody
brought up.
65 and above. And
I mean, seriously,
we
if you're
could
going
also
full Social
pass the
Security,
bigger
it's
number.
25.6 a year, and there's two of you, you're already over the freeze limit.
Yeah.
So
So the,
25.6 Social Security is all you got.
Yeah.
You're struggling as an elderly person.
okay. Well, the state offers, the other option is the 61,920.
Well, I would lean
So,
towards the 61 for
either
two
one.
and 41 for the
Yeah.
single. That's why I asked the question.
yeah. So those are our only options. Though, if we're up to me, I'd freeze property tax for everybody 65 and above. I just think it's the right thing
Okay.
to do. But
Right.
we don't have that kind of power. The state gives us two options.
Okay.
Or no freeze at all.
Okay.
So we're currently on the no freeze.
Thank you.
I think the freeze is a good idea.
Okay, Commissioner, you'll have to get up to the microphone. Keep talking in your seats.
If one money comes out of one pot, it's got to go into another. So that if one part of the population gets this benefit, how does that affect the others who are going to have to pay? You understand what I'm saying? The money's got to be there. Like if you're a county budget,
In
so
other words, our expenses keep on going.
But a freeze is
And
a
people-
freeze. You're not taking money on a freeze. It's
Yeah.
just freezing it.
well,
But
for
somebody,
futuristic,
the money's
you
going to
would.
come from somewhere, I think is what
Right.
you're saying.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I didn't
So
know
I-
if you've
no, I-
seen any study like that.
Yeah, and that's part of what I think Tanya has done the research on. But I also think, if we've got seniors that we can help, I wish we could help them all. I wish we could help everybody 65
I'm
and
all
above.
seniors.
But I'm all for helping the ones we can versus not helping any of them.
Right.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm all for that versus us taxing somebody out of their home that they've lived in their whole life. I've talked to a lady at the VFW breakfast this weekend. She lives in the south side of the city. She's 83 years old. She said, I wish this was implemented when I'm 65. She said, I can barely afford my property taxes, how much they've gone up in the last 20 years. And she's on a fixed income. So this is somebody we could have helped. Yeah.
Since we do have
Yeah.
Rhonda here, would y'all
Yeah.
mind? I would love to hear from
No,
her.
I'd love to hear from her.
Would you
Well,
mind?
yeah, because Tanya and I talked about you. We weren't able to get a hold of you. She's there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say it involves my office too,
Yeah.
because the tax freeze, I'm all for the elderly and I'm all for helping them and helping them with what you all did before, adding to the tax relief is helping them more than passing something like this, because we haven't raised the property tax in 3 years. So it's doing nothing for them on the senior side. It's not helping them at all. But it's causing Tanya to have to do the extra applications, which she does the tax relief now. So it may not be that much to do the other. But we have to look at every piece of property every year, whether it's benefiting them or not. So there's going to be a cost on my side too. And we're already having to pick up campers now, which has been a tremendous undertaking. And we do mobile home parks every year. And we have to look at 6,500 parcels every year for just review on top of the new construction. So when I put my budget in this year, I'm asking for 2 more people and a vehicle. We can't keep doing with 2 people all this stuff. And I understand completely the tax freeze, but you got to look at the cost. If you want to help them now, do something more on the tax relief, because that helps them every year.
So again, we're going to do the job and we'll do the best we can do. But I've stretched my people till they can't go anymore. So.
I'll just real quick, and I do have to get into our council meeting. I'll just speak to that real quick. Again, a third of the trustees' offices in the county in the state of Tennessee have successfully implemented this. We at the CSAT, I believe you on the county, are maxed out on the relief program. We're given the full amount that we can give. We started that in 2021. So we're past what we can do to help with the relief. This is an additional step on top of the relief. I don't know that there's any more money that we can give. And if there is, we'll implement that at the city council, I feel like, because we're really strong on seniors down there. But most of our council is seniors, not a slam at most of them. But yeah, this is an additional help. We are maxing out our tax relief. This is a second thing on top. There is a manpower cost. There's some cost involved. This is not a completely free deal, but I don't want to be looking at a senior that's about to lose their home and say, hey, I couldn't come up with another personnel position, and sorry, you're going to have to move into a cheaper residence. You're going to have to go to a nursing home or something because we couldn't come up with a few more dollars. So I can't speak for the council. I'm one council person, but I know we're seriously going to look at this over the upcoming 2 or 3 months. And I would just urge you as a county commission, if you would, to at least consider it, give it the proper consideration, and possibly even bring it to a vote. I know the previous time I spoke to Tanya that it was brought up, it never got to a vote on the floor. I'd urge you to get it to a vote at a minimum. So thank you for your time.
Both of y'all.
Thank y'all.
Okay, yes, sir, just very short. You have a question?
I'm not a senior citizen. I am an old man. I am a homeowner. I'm a taxpayer. And I think this idea of helping poor people is a great idea. I would suggest, I'm not saying let's do this, but just think about the possibility of not tying it to age so much as just condition of poverty and also children affected. Anyway,
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Back to me. Is any other business or anything else we need to do?
Announcements?
Of course, we got Christmas week from Thursday. I guess the P offices and the county mayor's office be closed. I guess 25th, 26th. Same thing.
24th,
Yeah.
5th, and 6th.
Okay. So and then we got New Year's the next week. It's the same thing. It comes first and second, and I don't know if you might know P office.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. One last thing here.
Okay.
So, this great experiment that we've all enjoyed for 250 years is part of a citizens government. Next Monday is the day that one can pick up their petition to run for office, whether it be mayor or county commission or property assessor, I'm sorry, register of deeds, the other offices in there. Then you will have approximately till February 17th to turn that in with accurate numbers so that you can get on the ballot. So it's a public service. Public service is a very noble deed, and it's something all of us should do because that's what we were all founded on. Give back to the public, do something for the public, give public service in there. This year will mark my 50th year of having been involved with federal government, state government, and county government since 1976. I've enjoyed the service that I've had, but I'm not going to run for reelection in the 2nd District. It's been a great privilege and honor serving that district. I have enjoyed every bit of it, but I have decided that it's time for someone else to enjoy this. And so if anyone in the 2nd District is interested in running, that there will be a spot that's vacant for that. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
Any other announcements? Being none, is a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay.